Going over to question 11, this is a question type that we refer to as linear with heavy unit conversions. And we're going to use chemistry style unit conversions to feel 100% confident on this question type. Let's go ahead and write the equation they gave us out. 3x plus 5y equals 32. Now, those spaces are there for a reason. Before we get to that, let's remind ourselves that any number is really itself over 1. So if we want to show these as fractions, we can. Now, out of these items, these individual numbers and variables that we have here, some of them have units that were given to us. For instance, 32 is the number of cups. So 32 cups. And what else do we know? We know that X is the small jars and Y is the large jars. So let's go ahead and say X jars here and Y jars there. And this all pertains to the small ones, and this all pertains to the large ones. So now if you haven't done unit conversions in this way in school, then this will look a little funny. But I think more than half of students, from what I've seen, have done this style of unit conversion. We don't know the unit for this piece and this piece, but we know that the unit of jars has to somehow be converted into cups at the end. So what has to go in the space to make that work? And the answer has to be cups on the top and jars on the bottom. And I'll show you why. Because if I write those in, cups, jars, cups, jars, what's going to happen with the units is that this will cancel with this will cancel with this. And now we have cups, cups, cups. And without that happening, we wouldn't be allowed to do this. So we can't just add and multiply things with just random values to them. They have to have units that match. And so this process tells us that yes, they matched and this equation makes sense. So we'll just go ahead and delete these things. Crossing them out was the way that we knew this made sense. But now we're being asked, what's the best interpretation of the 5y? Well, we knew that the 5 was the cups per jar and the y was the number of jars, and this all pertains to the large side. So let's think about what that would mean in like a real life situation. So let's say we have a certain number of jars, and those are big containers, and each of those jars has a certain number of cups in it. So each large container has a certain number of small things in it. So then we'd multiply. We'd say, well, I've got, let's say, a certain number of boxes, and each box has this many items in each box. But that would be the math behind figuring out how many total small items we have, which, as we said, made sense because this crossed out and left us with cups. So 5y is the total number of cups for the large side of this equation. So the total number of large cups, or better said, the total number of cups in the large jars. And that is answer choice C here.